Hello everybody, Crypto Chaperone here, and today we have a lot going on with cryptocurrencies, so we're going to get right down to it. So I'm sure you've checked your blockfolio or your portfolio in general, wherever you have your coin values stored on that keeps you up to date on what's going on, or even if you've checked out CoinMarketCap, I'm sure you've seen all the red and all the negative and all the profit pulling that we're seeing going on in the markets. One of the biggest things that we need to look at is our market cap is dropped below $300 billion. Now, yesterday we actually reached a high of over $245 billion. And I think we regressed down to, I think it was like in the mid 280s, and then we started to pull back up. So that is about $60 billion was pulled out of our market. And I think the reason for this is what I've been talking about, that you have so many people who are holding such substantial values of Bitcoin, and they have the pretty much the opportunity to do whatever they want with the markets. So I think we had such a big resistance put up at the $10,000 wall. A lot of people didn't think we were going to hit it, and then we got to the point where we were guaranteed to hit it, and a lot of people didn't think we were going to push past that. And the problem was we pushed past that, and we went past it 15% up into 11,500, and even a little past that. Now, a lot of exchanges are going to have tons of different rates. So depending on what exchange you were buying on, you were potentially even maybe buying your Bitcoins for over $12,000. On some of these foreign exchanges like Japanese and Korean exchanges, they always go for about 8 to 10% more than what other exchanges are going for. So they're a decent amount more. And I think the reason that we saw this was potentially maybe because we saw that resistance get busted down at the $10,000 wall, and you had all these people that are trying to put their money in all at once. So if we were really going to hit that $10,000 wall and stop, or if we were going to push back, you probably would have had a delay of money coming in, and we definitely wouldn't have seen that 200 or $345 billion market cap hit. I think what would have happened is we probably would have slowly dropped down in Bitcoin's growth or in what the price was, and we probably would have had sort of a plateau, and I think maybe other altcoins would have suffered a little bit, but we would have had a little bit of leveling off. But the situation was that I think a lot of people that were holding back that resistance wall at 10,000, they lifted it and they said, well, let's see how far we can let these people take it. They let it go up an extra 15%, and then they dumped as many Bitcoins as they could on the whole market and pushed the market completely down. Now that's just my idea on it. Anything could have potentially happened, but for the market to have about $60 billion fluctuate in it over the course of 24 hours is ridiculous. Actually, it was more than that. We hit about, over 24 hours, I guess this maybe would have made it, but if this $277 or $273 billion mark was in the 24-hour range of hitting our $345 billion mark, that is pretty close to 50 or $75 billion. That's like $70 billion was pulled out of the market in close to 24 hours. If it wasn't 24 hours, it was like 30 hours at least. So what you see here is a lot of people pulling profits, and I think this is just a lot of overdue profit pulling in general. I think you saw the markets go up in such an exponential rate over the past 2 weeks that anybody who wanted to pull out their cryptocurrencies at this point was saying, I think I'm going to hold on to them for a little bit and see what happens. And there were really no major signs to sell your Bitcoins except when we got to near that $10,000 point. And I think that $10,000 point was kind of a change of hands. You had people who were around the holidays and who it's getting really big in media and all that. You have your general public who are trying to buy into this coin. And the general public is potentially buying in at $9,500, $10,000, and they're breaking down that resistance wall. And on the other hand, you have all these people who have been engulfed in cryptocurrencies or have been actually paying attention to it maybe for a little bit, maybe not a long time, but they have been kind of prepared for what this was going to happen here. And they were the ones maybe selling their cryptocurrencies at the $10,000 mark. So when all these new people bought into the cryptocurrencies, obviously they're not going to start selling their cryptocurrencies as soon as it drops instantly. Well, a lot of them will because they're not used to this market. But even if the market were to drop like 3 to 5%, they potentially might hold on to them. So I think what they did was they decided to pump up the market a little bit more and let the resistance go and see what could happen. And a lot of these people were investing a little bit of money and they were watching the market go up 3, 5, 10% in a day. And they kept putting more and more in their money in. And that's something I'm going to talk to you guys about because I have a lot more of my personal friends who are asking me every day, how do I get into Bitcoin? How do I get into cryptocurrencies? Because I see this growing more and more, and it's the FOMO issue. They don't want to miss out on what's going on. And they think this is going to grow to a potentially a $50,000 coin, a $100,000 coin, a $500,000 coin. Anything could happen. And the more this market grows, the more people are going to want to get introduced to it and start to trade in it and enjoy the profits that they can be making off of it because they see other people that are doing this. You see all these people that are making so much money on just trading like BitConnect and all that, even though personally I think it's a Ponzi scheme, but if you're making money, then good job. And that's what cryptocurrencies are all about, is to make as much money as you potentially can at this point, because this is a great transfer of wealth and you have so much opportunity to pretty much benefit from this. So I don't want to get away from all this, but what I think really kind of happened here was you saw a lot of people put in more money than they were willing to put into the markets in a short amount of time. So you had from Thanksgiving till now, which was like a week, and the markets pumped up over that week. It was like 30%, 25% in full price of Bitcoin. So the more people, as they watch the price go up 10, 15, 20%, they were thinking this is going to continue going up. And they see all these big investors and billionaires like Novogratz and everybody who's saying this is going to go up to $10,000 by the end of the year. It's going to grow up to be the next big thing. And they're just talking about it like it's everything. And you have celebrities that are talking about it. You have Dan Bilzerian, who was talking about his portfolio and the coins he owns. And even if these people aren't majorly into cryptocurrencies, they might just be buying in to have the asset in general in their portfolio. They might not know anything else about it. But as they start talking about it, that they have it, that's going to influence a ton of other people to go and look into it. Maybe potentially not learn about it, but they're going to buy and invest in it in the first place. And I think that's what we saw of this past week, week and a half, was too many people getting interested in Bitcoin. And they don't want to learn about it before they buy in. So that's what I'm going to talk about now is before you buy into your cryptocurrencies or whatever you want to invest in general, even if you're going to invest in stocks, you want to kind of have a plan of what you want to do. You want to take your initial investment, whether it be $100, $500, $1,000, $100,000, whatever it is, and you want to break it up into increments. And this is what I tell all my friends to do when you're buying into cryptocurrencies, because you see this exact same situation happen that we had over the past 24 hours of the past week, more or less, where you have these huge bull runs in the market and they go so far up, and you have so many people that are thinking this is the next run up to the moon and they're going to try to profit off of it. And in reality, the market could dip at any second. It really doesn't matter what some of the trade indicators mean. You have people who are out there who are analyzing Bitcoin 24/7 and they say there's a huge resistance at this number. It's not going to drop below 9,700 or something. And 20 minutes later, it's at 9,000. Cryptocurrencies are unpredictable. It doesn't matter what you see. Anything can happen at any moment. So that's why I think it is your best interest to break up any initial investment you want to put into cryptocurrencies, or even if you're going to move your cryptocurrencies into another currency and you're moving potentially a large chunk of your portfolio into it, 20, 30, 40, 50, anything larger than that percent, you should buy into it in increments. So what I mean by this is, let's go look at Bitcoin. If you heard about Bitcoin over Thanksgiving, potentially you were with your family, and you said, I think I'm going to buy into that. Maybe your cousin talked about how he bought it for $2,000 earlier this year, and over the past couple months, he's cashed out every time it's hit $7,000, and then he buys back in or whatever, and he's up to $30,000 of Bitcoin or whatever. Who knows what he's been doing. So if we go look over, we'll just take out the last month more, or last 7 days, because this is huge. So we had a really, pretty much it looks like an accumulation period more or less, because it was just natural flow of Bitcoin. But since we had such a fast spike here, everything else looks minuscule to what just happened. So here we had Bitcoin just a week ago down in the 8100s. Now this is like right around Thanksgiving. People were eating their Thanksgiving meal. It's at $8,000. You're talking about it, and it's Thanksgiving. So anybody who's in the United States or whatever who wants to invest in this, you have to wait till Friday, Black Friday, to invest. And everybody thought that cryptocurrencies were Bitcoin was going to see this huge dip downward on Black Friday because it was a pattern of what was seen before. So we continue onward. Black Friday hit, and all of a sudden, Bitcoin started to take a decent turn upward. Nobody expected it really. And it just kept going. And it was pretty much from Black Friday on, you had just so much money coming into Bitcoin. It kept growing and growing. And that's because as the holiday went on, potentially maybe people couldn't get their money into until Monday, Tuesday. And that's why we saw this huge influx in the markets of Coinbase and their users. And they were trying to keep up with everybody. Their app actually hit in the top 4 apps in the Android market over the week, potentially for this same reason, because of all the advertising of family and whatnot that you hear during the holidays. We're going to see the same thing happen again during Christmas, because I think Christmas, a lot more people have a lot more free time. Honestly, people take off their last week of the year for New Year's and all that. And you have people who are traveling across the country literally to see their family. I think Thanksgiving, people try to see their closer family. I mean, I'm just saying random stuff. It's whatever, but I think Christmas it's a bigger holiday that's celebrated, and I think we might see even a bigger dip in the markets, and this is going to be what leads us into that new year. Another reason we could see that dip in the markets is just because people who hold a ton of Bitcoin want to get that last chance to push the markets around and really buy in at that last chance of getting a low. I don't know if you'll ever be able to get a Bitcoin below $5,000 again unless this market completely crashes. So as Bitcoin grows in general, you're going to see people who have any influential power that want to get into Bitcoin at a lower price. I think they're going to use whatever they can to get into Bitcoin, just like you've seen Neo's price, or not Neo, Omisi Go's price, OMG. It's been pretty much sustained in the same area forever, and there's so many people that are talking about it being that next breakout coin that has so much success or so much potential success in its future, because it's got so many potential developments, and the developers are working so hard to get it integrated into everyday life. So just as that coin grows, it's kind of been in this little area of not really leaving like its 10 to 20% range. It kind of stays in between like the $7 to $9 all the time. And potentially that could just be people accumulating mass amounts of it. And once it grows up to 100, 200, or whatever it's going to go to, once it grows up to some of its better points, you could see huge dips like this as well, as more and more people hold more and more amounts of it. And as that's the point of Bitcoin, as I was talking about yesterday, the motto of Bitcoin is strength in numbers. So you have Bitcoin held by so few people now, it's kind of like that 1% of money. If Bitcoin's still held by the 1% of everybody who invested in it, eventually it's going to get spread out, and the wealth is going to get spread because those people are going to start to spend their Bitcoins or trade them or do whatever else. And as more people buy into Bitcoin, they're going to buy into it at a different price. Potentially, you might have bought your Bitcoin at $100 or $1,000, and when you sell it to somebody, you might sell it to somebody for $10,000 or $20,000. And that's now that person's potential buy-in spot. So where you bought in at $100, that person now bought in at $10,000 or $20,000, and they're going to start pretty much their whole investment from that spot. And maybe they'll carry it up until $60,000, $70,000, and they'll sell it. And the whole coin is going to just get passed around to more and more people. And also you had a ton of these coins that were stored on hard drives and computers and were traded before it even started to get any success or notoriety, and anybody expected it to get this big, that you had probably a decent amount of coins were lost in general. So that's going to definitely take a toll on the total amount. I'm sure there's probably less than 20 million coins that are actually in circulation. I bet there's been at least 1 million or more Bitcoin lost between the 10 years it's been around. So if you are planning on buying into cryptocurrencies at the moment, I would say your best guess at the moment is to take your investment, break it up into smaller portions, say maybe 10 to 15 to 20%, and buy in on the market as it fluctuates. So what I came here to do was, throughout this market, if you were going to buy into Bitcoin, if you would have bought into all 100% right here at $8,400, now that might have been great. At the moment, that does look great, because you would have put all your money in at once. And if you would have continued, you would have made a decent amount and you could have pulled out your profits when you wanted. But if you would have invested up here potentially at the $10,900 mark, and right after that it dropped down to 10,600, 10,500, and you are already seeing a dip and you don't know what's going on. You might have just bought into cryptocurrencies, so you might have wanted to sell. If you put all 100% of your investment into it all at once, all of your capital, you've already lost like 5%. And then all of a sudden we had another shoot upward to our all-time high of about 11,500 up here. And then everybody started to sell because I think that was just that point where we thought we were never even going to make it to. So people started pulling out their profits. And once you had a big sell go off, once it has that kind of double peak action go on after a bigger major sell, a lot of people kind of take advantage of that second peak. Smaller sellers and people who aren't whales see that double peak as their last opportunity sometimes to pull profit before a big dip. So that's what I think we had here. And if you would have bought in at any of these points with more than 50% of your portfolio, you're definitely going to feel it from here, pretty much from yesterday, and I think for maybe the next couple of days, because the markets are going to stabilize and it's going to go back to the point where it should be to grow organically. Now you have to take in mind that we do have the Big Bang Theory episode that is going to air tonight. So if you do want to watch that, tune in and see it. It is on CBS, I think at like 8 o'clock, 7 Central. I might watch that tonight. I haven't watched Big Bang Theory in a while, but if Bitcoin's in it, it's definitely something worth watching. And I think that news as well, because that's going to spread to a ton of people. That's going to reach out to a whole new audience, and people are going to look at Bitcoin as soon as they see that episode because they talk about it being $5,000, and they're going to see that Bitcoin hit $11,500 right after that, and they're going to see, it had some pullback and everything after that, but Bitcoin's almost at double the price it was or when they filmed this episode or when they wrote it or whatever. So you're going to have a lot of people that are going to just buy into Bitcoin blindly once again because they saw it on a movie or a TV show, and they just see this massive growth over a very short period of time, and they're going to assume that it's going to be recreatable. And it could be. I think Bitcoin is going to be that thing that in the future is going to have massive incomes, and there's going to be so many people coming into it, but along the way we're going to still see these jagged lines of volatility that we keep seeing, and that's going to definitely shake the people who aren't ready for it. People who are just jumping into cryptocurrencies don't understand that you could lose 20-30% in one day. And if we take a look back at our markets today, everything's looking pretty red. So it's definitely something that you should get used to now. If you would have bought into some of these coins, they were pumping majorly over the past couple days. I know Bitcoin Cash I temporarily moved into when it was at like 1,600, and it kind of stabilized up into here, and then it took a huge dip just because the whole market cap in general, everyone was pulling out their profits. And when whales start pulling out their profits, people start freaking out because they think something's wrong. And I don't think anything's wrong. I think that they're just trying to move the markets and get the most cryptocurrencies they can at the moment. I think we're seeing a massive market accumulation more or less go on because cryptocurrencies over the next 6 months are going to grow massively. If you have anything invested in it right now, I think as long as you tend to your investments wisely, make wise trades, don't put your currencies in places where you don't have the keys and you could possibly lose them, as long as you come out at the end holding your cryptocurrencies that you have now or trading cryptocurrencies up until potentially summer, I think you should be able to make 4 to 5 times gains easily. So if you're putting in $1,000 to $5,000, there's no reason why you shouldn't come out with $5,000 to $25,000 by summer. That is also just my opinion. I mean, you could make a bunch of bad trades and you could just do things completely wrong. It's just pretty much how the market goes. It could be completely your luck. And everything that I'm saying isn't financial advice. And I'm not a financial advisor. So everything that you want to invest in or anything that I talk about throughout the future or even in my past videos, make sure you always go out and you do your own due diligence and you look at the Bitcoin Talk forums. You Google everything about the coin in general. Google to make sure it's not a scam. Check the Reddit pages. Check as much as you can about the coin before investing into it. Make sure there's no major developments that just came out potentially maybe a couple days ago where you could be coming off of a major pump of the coin's price, and you could still be kind of buying it on the decline. Or you might want to check out and make sure maybe there is some big news coming out of the coin in the future. So speaking of future news, we're going to take a look at Binance. Now, once every month, Binance has you can vote for their cryptocurrency of the month, which they will put, I think it's the top 2 most voted cryptocurrencies or top 3 most voted cryptocurrencies they'll put on their website for free, or something like that. Maybe it's only the top one. To get on Binance, you have to either pay a fee, or you can be voted in by your members or users by being the most popular cryptocurrency. So we're going to take a look at this month's cryptocurrencies. And if we take a look at this month's cryptocurrencies that they have in the running, they're kind of doing it differently than before. I think Binance is kind of trying to avoid the coins getting a pre-pump before they get on the markets. Before, they used to display Binance with the coin, and they would show kind of a chart with individual votes and the percentage of votes out of the total votes that were cast that each coin had. And I think the problem with that was you would see coins that were like substratum when it saw 20 and 30% gains because people knew it was going to be the next coin listed on Binance. And you have these coins that aren't going to have very much market potential if they don't get listed on Binance. So if it's a very small market coin and it is going to get listed on Binance, it sometimes has the potential to go up 50% to even maybe 150 to 200%, depending on whatever is behind the coin, the potential behind it, more or less. So if we look at it now, Binance has kind of changed it up, and they changed it up by making it to the point where they tweeted out all the coins that were in the running for this month's coin of the month, and you have to retweet their tweets for the coins for the coin to get a vote. So what we run to here is we'll check out ETHLAN. Now, ETHLAN has 1,217 retweets. Now, you could still pretty much just go out, check out their Twitter, and check out their retweets, and then pick up the coins from here, more or less, because I'm assuming these retweets are all votes, unless they're going to go through and they're going to check each one of these members, because you could have someone that could buy fake retweets or whatever, and you could have 20,000 retweets for a coin, and they could all be fake users. Unless Binance is going to go through and authenticate every one of these retweets to make sure that every one of these users is following them and potentially is a member of the Binance community, this could come out even a little bit worse than the original Binance situation, because this could be heavily weighed in on and favored, and anybody could really change this to whatever they want it to be. You could just buy retweets and have something retweeted 1,000 times if you really had enough of that coin that was going to make you that big of a profit. Maybe, if you want to invest in one of these coins, this might be a better time for you guys to invest in one of the coins that's going to be getting listed on Binance. While all these coins are seeing a little bit of a negative impact from the markets getting that huge rush upwards, this is kind of a better time for you to maybe take advantage of this, get some of your profits back if you have been losing your profits. But other than that, guys, I'm going to leave you with that for today. Always be vigilant in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world. Make sure that you are not buying in 100% of your capital investment all at once, and make sure that you are pretty much keeping all of your funds in a safe wallet, an offline wallet, or wherever, just the safest place. Don't keep your funds in an exchange, because an exchange could go down at any time. And I'm sure as we see this space grow more and more and a Bitcoin becomes worth more and more, the total funds that are kept on exchanges is more and more. So you're going to have more people that are going to try to hack and phish these exchanges. It's in your best interest to keep all of your funds in an offline wallet. If you haven't yet, check out in my description below for my Ledger Nano S giveaway. All you have to do is leave a comment under that video and you'll be entered to win a Ledger Nano S. Subscribe to my channel and just keep watching my videos and enjoy. And hopefully you guys are following a ton of other YouTube crypto teachers out there and people trying to influence you on this space and trying to show you the rights and wrongs. And even if it's all wrongs, at least you're kind of seeing something. Even if you don't agree with potentially maybe something I say or something someone else says, it's at least giving you the idea to go out and look for it on your own. And it's giving you the first at least step or push in the right direction to go look for it. After this, I just suggest you guys go out and look at more YouTube videos and try to learn as much as you can about this ever-growing space. And I'll talk to you guys next time. I'll see ya.